Welcome to your supernatural breakthrough report. This is the Peace Dealer, and thank you very much for your kind words that I've read in the email. I'm very honored that I've been able to assist in your journey. All right, and I'm very honored that you ordered this reading. So once again, just to explain what this is, we are going to look at this opposition as it harvests over the next 3 months, hence the breakthrough arc. The breakthrough consists of this 180-degree opposition in Leo, the 210-degree quincunx in Virgo, the 240-degree trine in Libra, concluding, of course, with the 270-degree completion in Scorpio. This arc right here is the first wave of breakthrough. We'll reconjunct this January to February every year for the next 19 years, and we'll be doing this, of course, again from January to August. So this represents the very first time in 248 years that any of us are going through this. And so for the first time, this is like breaking through into the supernatural for the first time. This is like Peter Parker getting bitten by the spider. All right. Every year after that, he's already used to walking on walls and shooting web slingers, right? This is like everyone's superhero, supervillain origin story, let's say. So that's what we will be taking into account, especially knowing that as a Sagittarius rising, look at that, with Neptune on the rising and you being the natural priestess, right? Natural sincerity, natural holy power, individual soul, individual spirit, universal personality. You're the creator goddess here, the creator, universal, seer. Okay. So this is also a pretty interesting quincunx, but we will be examining Pluto that marks your third house. Okay. And how the breakthrough relative to the ninth will complete in the 12th. The third house is your mindset and attitude. As an ascended being, you have a celestial mindset. This will open up claircognizant abilities. So we are, for this example, going to say that over the next 20 years, the supernatural ability you are awakening is claircognizance, elements of nigh omniscience that will take this grounded element of natural healing in your soul that unconventionally helps people really integrate behavioral patterns and heal health elements through touch. Right? You can automatically know where to touch people in order to heal them and shift stuck energy. This natural groundedness is going to really transform a lot of the deeper, intimate qualities you unconventionally pick up very psychically. I mean, I can imagine you're psychic in a way that terrifies other people. Having Neptune on the rising, being able to see through anyone and anything, like with X-ray vision, very, very masterfully. Even this Virgo season that is really concluding this 10th house chapter that you started since last year, December. This is already very powerful. All right. Once again, this is a very powerful opposition right here. And then the nodes here will also seek to unlock this as the North Node next year. We'll come into Aquarius. But yes, Pluto is going to be awakening your third house. So now what we want to see Pluto, especially your Aquarius in the third house, as is you're writing a book. Every year now, once you get into ninth house of performance, Leo of performance on stage, you're taking the book you wrote through Taurus and Gemini. You're memorizing the lines. And then, of course, Aquarius is the mind. Leo is the heart. You've memorized it by heart. Now you're performing what you wrote by heart. That's a really good analogy to see. You're going to really update your mindset, because every year we have a boatload of experiences that, of course, upgrade our mindset and attitude. We think more things, we integrate more experience, we can develop our attitude positively or reinforce negative attitudes and thoughts. So this is awakening much more extraordinary, supernatural, claircognizant realization that you will be able to demonstrate and perform at higher capability and increasing degrees every Leo season. So let's go back to this Leo season. What was that like for you? What were you beginning to break through? Because this is going to be a sneak peek to what you will, of course, demonstrate in increasing capability moving forward. And that's where now, once we get to Virgo season begins to transform the nature of what you are picking up and know, and how this transforms your mindset relative to how every year this will break through more success in your career, especially relative to this amazing stellium here, this very masterful stellium, the new moon that we're going to even have, that's close to your Mars, is going to really enable much more analytical, strategic success or accomplishment of goals. Something that's even more important because, well, Saturn is opposite your Saturn. So relative to the previous 2008 Saturn return you had, if not 2010 Saturn return, but let's say 2008 because I think it was in Libra 2010. Well, now you're harvesting it from Pisces to Gemini 2032, which is going to complete that Saturn return, enabling you to take this social karmic authority that you hold the society around. By the way, Saturn and Jupiter on the MC secures high positions of authority. So this is actually really cool that you can act off on. So this is just going to make sure the beliefs you support as a foundation of your vision align with this integrity. You put yourself in public out there. Anything that, of course, in your private home life that doesn't reflect that will be brought up to the surface for you to be dealt with. But of course, over the next 20 years, this is going to be transforming how you apply this claircognizance into real change in your career, so that by the time we get to Libra, okay, in this trines, now you're coming into a socially defined awareness of how you apply this change in strategy and analysis towards the social circle that you feel belongs around you, and how you take this language that Jupiter is expanded through your seventh. You can communicate towards others and then connect with other people and bridge this mindset very extremely with others. I think as we get closer to like 2035 or the 2030s, Pluto will be in the middle of Aquarius, trining your Pluto and making these so much more intense as a grand air trine. So let's really revisit that, because this is your mindset, right? Of course, the lingo I speak is directly going to be applied towards relationships with other people. And then that's going to impact the circle of friends I have. The circle of friends will influence my lingo. And then boom, we have this trinity here. So Venus is going to polish very transcendent and supernaturally what you tell people in ways that are so uncanny. They're going to wonder why you use that specific word that they were thinking of and didn't even tell you they were thinking of, really borrowing into how effortlessly psychic you are. Pluto in awakening this claircognizance of knowing without really having to have the details, which you have Virgo, so you do have the details, giving you the best of both worlds, is going to intensify how much more extremely you communicate this truth towards others. And that's why last year, Jupiter's expansion of your seventh house enabled now with Uranus this subsequent innovation over the rest of the decade of your partnerships. Something even more important, because Pluto is trining Uranus. So this is definitely going to not only take into account this claircognizance, nigh omniscient like understanding and awakening of your mindset and these skill sets and abilities that will also, as a progressed rising probably past Capricorn or in Aquarius, now have you identify with the value of this attitude, but now how this awakening of these abilities innovate entirely how you even communicate towards other people. All of these facets are going to influence greatly now the socialization out there in public with the right people who tie into these developments and foster and stimulate even more development. So that by the time you get in Scorpio, now the mindset that has shaped your philosophy and how you present that socially transforms every year these unconscious beliefs and steps. By the time you get into Scorpio season every year, you right now you're awakening a consciously competent or a conscious incompetent that will turn into unconscious competence, right? That will help you, especially with Uranus here, really just effortlessly breeze through this and shift a lot of the deeper wisdom and psychoanalytical understanding of how your mindset will continue to really shape itself. especially once the North Node enters next year and begins to unlock these abilities and really tap you into this. So I would really love your feedback. I would really love what that feels like for you. How do you experience that? Is that your experience of what it's been like? I'm just using that as an analogy, but it gives you an idea relative to the mindset and how you demonstrate this socially towards others, like one who writes a book and then performs it by heart. You stay blessed as always, and until next time. Peace.